because we need somebody brave enough to say the e-reader Game Boy Advance bundle isn't worth it. Damn it. This might be one of my most pointless ones yet. Today, I'm going to rank the validity of numerous Nintendo console bundles throughout the years. I picked a random assortment, so if you can find any that are sillier than this or cooler than this or whatever, please let me know, because then we could do more of these, because there's an infinite supply of console bundles. But something that I've noticed throughout the years is that Nintendo console bundles have gone all over the place. Like, certain games are included in these bundles that I would have never assumed. And of course, like, more recently, you know, it's a little more designated. Like, every single Black Friday, there was a Nintendo Switch Mario Kart 8 bundle, of course. And unfortunately, I don't really remember the price points of a lot of these bundles, so it kind of just comes down to, like, do I think this makes sense as a bundle? How much value do I think this bundle has? Like, if you were just getting into this console for the first time, like, how good of a bundle is this? And also, like, how much stuff actually makes sense with this bundle? Is the console a special color or special edition? That's probably some extra brownie points. It's not necessarily necessary, but I think it's kind of cool, and sometimes some colors make sense, some colors don't make sense. Let's start off with the stupidest one, the Black Wii redesign. This one does not include GameCube ports, but it includes a copy of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which is great. You know, I think New Super Mario Bros. Wii is a great game to include with the Wii. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like the best representation of what the Wii can do. I think the Wii kind of peaked with like Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort being the pack-in game. But New Super Mario Bros. Wii, I think, is a solid pick for a pack-in game for the Wii. One weird thing, it includes the Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack CD. Why? So not only is this a soundtrack of a game that's not included in this bundle, but also the Wii can't play audio CDs. I appreciate the generosity throwing that in there. You didn't need to do that. I'm just confused. I mean, the Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack is out of this world, like one of the greatest video game soundtracks of all time. However, yeah. I mean, do I need to explain this any further? It's just strange. Now, this model of Wii is not the best model of the Wii, but I believe this was retailing for around $150. And this hit around like 2011 or so, so this was kind of around a time where it's like, I don't really think this was like the most lucrative bundle. It was kind of just like, this is a Wii bundle on store shelves at the time. There wasn't really much else to it. And it randomly included an extra CD for some reason. So where I rank this is definitely going to be very telling for how the rest of this is going to go, because, you know, how am I ranking these console bundles? So I don't think this is a bad deal at all. You know, $150 for a Wii, New Super Mario Bros. Wii. However, I do think there's been better Wii bundles. Specifically, I mean, there's the 25th anniversary Mario Edition Red Wii, which included New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Wii Sports. So you get two games in that one. I believe around that time, that was $200. So, I mean, this is less expensive, but, you know, it's a Wii without GameCube ports, and they throw in a CD, and I'm just like, why? Okay, well, I also have the 25th anniversary Mario Red Wii here to rank as well. And I've always wanted this thing, and I have it now, and I'm very happy about it. But I will say, the other regions in the world kind of got cooler options. So Japan's 25th anniversary Mario Wii actually included the original Super Mario Brothers as a virtual console game pre-installed on the Wii, except there is a funky little thing where all the question mark blocks had 25 on them instead. That's it. I mean, it's cool. You can't deny that. For some reason, North America didn't include that, but the Australian version of this bundle had everything that we got in North America, plus the 25th anniversary Super Mario Bros. Edition. But for some reason, in Europe, they got the Red Wii with New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Wii Sports, and instead of 25th anniversary Super Mario Bros., they got Donkey Kong Original Edition, which is yet another funky little like ROM hack NES virtual console game. This one was Donkey Kong on the NES, but there was a level that was only in the arcade version that wasn't in the NES version that they actually put back in the NES version. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, I'd honestly say Japan had the worst bundle there, because It just included NES Super Mario Brothers with a 25 on all the question blocks. Cool. I mean, it's cool, but it's also like, that's all you're getting. Then followed by North America. North America, we kind of gotta, you know. And the red is great. The red Wii itself is great, but yeah, so I would honestly rate the 25th anniversary Mario Wii, and I'm rating the North American version here. I mean, it's hard, man, because I love the red color, but there's nothing Mario about it, so if you're really trying to do like a 25th anniversary celebration, you know, I kind of like that there's nothing Mario about it because it does make it kind of classy, but it's also like you can do something a little Mario-esque about it and it's still like classy. I would put this at B because I love the red color and it comes with 2 games. So, you know, overall, I can't complain that much even if other regions got a better bundle, which I think puts the black Wii with New Super Mario Bros. Wii and the CD at C because what the kind of a bundle is that? Might as well rank the other 25th anniversary Mario Edition console I have here, which is the Nintendo DSi XL bundle. So that actually includes a red DSi XL with some Mario insignia on it, you know, like some very subtle ones next to the camera there. And it includes a copy of Mario Kart DS and a couple of other things which normally got pre-installed on Nintendo DSi XLs, you know, 2 Brain Age games and Photo Clock. I will say the red Wii to me has always just been more striking than this DSi XL, but I do think this DSi XL is a little more like specially designed for the 25th anniversary, which is kind of cool. But to be fair, the 25th anniversary Mario Red Wii launched in 2010, so that was just 1 year after New Super Mario Bros. Wii released. And then this DSi XL includes Mario Kart DS, which at this point was a 5-year-old game, which is just like I could complain about, but it's also like Mario Kart DS is like the best game you could possibly include with the DS. You know, it's just like, it's so good. I think it's strange that they did do Mario Kart DS instead of like New Super Mario Brothers. Like that just almost feels like would have made a lot more sense, especially brings in parity with the Wii. You know, you got New Super Mario Wii on there, and then you get New Super Mario DS on the DSi XL. No Mario Kart DS. I mean, Mario Kart DS is incredible. So, I don't know. You see, I feel like they could have included some extra stuff with the DSi XL. I mean, just the fact that the Wii includes 2 games, even if Wii Sports was kind of just like a given as a bundle with the Wii at that point, like you were always going to get Wii Sports at that point with the Wii. But I feel like with the DSi XL, they could have included stuff like there was Mario vs. Donkey Kong Minis March Again on DSiWare. That was kind of like DSiWare's like big title. That was the one they were always pushing. So I think that would have been kind of cool as like another edition. Like you get the 2 Brain Age games, Photo Clock, and also Mario vs. Donkey Kong included as a pre-installed thing. And then you also got Mario Kart DS. And I think that would have made this like a slam dunk bundle. I think it would have had like pretty decent parity with the red Wii at that point. But to be fair, I mean, I think the parity here is the fact that the DSi XL pretty much always came with these 3 titles pre-installed. Maybe not all the time, but like a lot of bundles came with that. So those 3 games were fundamentally the DSi XL's version of Wii Sports right there. I think it belongs in B tier. I mean, Mario Kart DS is phenomenal. I think Mario Kart DS is better than New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but it's a much older game compared to New Super Mario Bros. Wii. So I think there's a bit more excitement going on with the Wii bundle compared to the DSi XL bundle, but there's a little more excitement going on with the DSi XL bundle because Mario Kart DS is a bit of a better game, and also you get a more unique system design there. I think it evens out. I think they belong in the same tier, side by side. It just makes sense. All right, buddy, we got to go a little classic. We got to talk about the very first Nintendo bundle that we could possibly even talk about, which is the NES Deluxe set. Now, this is the one that came with Rob the Robot and all the accessories for that fucking guy. It comes with 2 NES controllers, a Zapper gun, and Gyromite on NES and Duck Hunt on NES. 2 separate cartridges. Yeah, so I don't think I'm gonna rank this very highly because, to be honest, Rob has always kind of been like a sacrificial lamb for Nintendo. You know, the whole idea is that Rob helped market the NES more so as a toy, so then retailers would be more willing to stock the system since they were spooked after too many low-quality video games and video game consoles were flooding their store shelves with Atari and Intellivision and ColecoVision, all this crap. You can kind of tell, I don't think Nintendo ever really intended to support Rob past the 2 games that support Rob. With that being said, you get a lot of junk with this bundle. Keyword being junk. I think this is pitiful. The fact that Gyromite is like your only like traditional game that uses the NES gamepad. And then Duck Hunt's great, you know, Duck Hunt's a great time, but I feel like you need like an actual honest to God video game with this thing to make it make sense. But no, you get Gyromite. And Gyromite is cute. I love like Gyromite's music, and honestly, Gyromite's gameplay is kind of cute and fun. I could imagine it being like a genuinely fun game if you weren't playing it with a goddamn robot. Now, because Rob just doesn't work very well. Rob is very slow and loud, and the whole concept here is that you have these spinning gyros, which Rob slowly picks up and then moves over to hit the A or B button, and a lot of the time he drops them accidentally or it doesn't work very well. But Gyromite's whole gameplay concept is, you know, you move the professor around, and then Rob opens up the pillars and stuff with A or B. So you have to kind of command Rob, like, hey, can you open up this pillar? And he's so slow, and you have to wait for him to do it. It gets to a point that, like, Gyromite would work a million times better as just a cooperative game with you and another human being. And doing it that way, I don't think Gyromite is half bad. With Rob, it's unplayable. I feel like there is kind of some idea that, like, I should rank this a little higher because it's just like, well, this is the bundle that saved the video game industry. I gotta be honest, guys. Looking at this bundle, I think the only saving grace is Duck Hunt. And even then, like, Duck Hunt is a lot of fun and cute and cool. To be honest, I think that's the only thing that's saving this bundle from an F. Like, my God, you need something else here. Like, I know adding a third game would be absurd, but if you weren't going to do Super Mario Brothers, which I don't think Super Mario Brothers technically actually launched with the NES, please do, I don't know, Excite Bike, Ice Climber, Kung Fu. I think Kung Fu would have been a good pick. God damn, I would even take Pinball on NES. Fucking Pinball. Now, the only 2 games that you have is one game that's genuinely unplayable and Duck Hunt. And I always found that Duck Hunt works best in that Super Mario Brothers combo pack. It's kind of like, you know, after you're done with Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt's kind of like a fun little palate cleanser after that. Of course, you know, I didn't grow up in the 80s, so, you know, who am I to say Gyromite sucks ass, but Gyromite sucks ass. That's going in D tier. Like, I think Duck Hunt and having 2 controllers in the package is genuinely what's saving that. And also, I know I just said Gyromite sucks ass, but I do feel like if you're playing with a second player, Gyromite ain't half bad. Rob is the big problem here. So that's going in D. Let's move up to Super Nintendo. There's the Super Nintendo Mario set. This hit a little later in the system's life. And it's interesting, you get Super Mario World, which was the initial pack-in for the Super Nintendo. But you also get Super Mario All-Stars. And it's actually like the only way that you could get like this unique all-in-one cartridge. This right here may be one of the greatest video game packages of all time. The fact that you get all of the NES Super Mario platformers plus Super Mario World all on one cartridge. That is insane. I also love the naming scheme of Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World, mainly because that gives massive modern Nintendo energy with that title. They truly haven't changed, haven't they? Fellas, I think this is genuinely like one of the best possible bundles that you could have gotten at the time, like literally just having like every Mario platformer plus like the one that was specifically designed for the Super Nintendo. You know, I just think it's insane. You know, Super Mario World was always just the Super Nintendo bundle, and then you just get the compilation remake of the other 4 2D Mario platformers. So yeah, I just think that belongs in S tier. I think that's a very hard bundle to match. But we'll see. How about the Nintendo 64 bundle with Super Mario 64? Player's Guide. Yeah, so this was a Walmart exclusive. It is literally just the N64, and you get a player's guide for Mario 64 with it. Not Mario 64, mind you. Okay, to be fair, this was definitely just kind of a freebie they were throwing in there. But I just find the fact that the Nintendo 64 did not launch with a bundle pack-in game just to be really absurd. Like, this is a console that was launching to compete with the PlayStation, you know, and the PlayStation absolutely just ate the fucking N64 for breakfast, lunch, dinner, brunch. I don't give a fuck. Who cares about analogies at this point? We're talking Nintendo. And hey, with the PlayStation, if you just bought that by itself, I mean, you could still open it up and you could use it as a CD player. The N64 was designed with one game in mind, and that was Super Mario 64. And at the launch of the N64, it launched with goddamn 2 games. Mario 64 and Pilot Wing 64. You launch with 2 games, and you don't even include the one that is just the one game for the N64 that is like the most obvious pack-in of all time. You don't include that with the system, which just makes this one funny. Like, this doesn't come with the game. You get the damn player's guide with the system. Wouldn't it make more sense if the player's guide, I don't know, came with the fucking game? Obviously, I think it's a little silly to like overanalyze this, because at the end of the day, like, this was just like something that Walmart did. You know, like they were just like, oh, like we can try to sell more N64s this way. Why not? I don't know. Something needs to go in F tier. How about this one, man? GameCube bundle with the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition disc, which is a very interesting bundle. Now, here's the thing with a lot of the console bundles around this era. Many times, they would just slap a sticker on any normal console, and a lot of times they would make certain bundles exclusive to certain retailers, but it wasn't as refined as it is today, where you get like a special box and all of that. Now, for the most part, like when you look up Game Boy bundle or Game Boy Advance bundle or GameCube bundle, you see a lot of stuff like this, where it's just the GameCube with a sticker slapped on it, and they include the game with the bundle. And Nintendo did this in the middle of the GameCube's life to kind of try to boost their sales a little bit, including like this Zelda bonus disc. And what it included was like 4 classic Zelda games. You got Zelda 1 on the NES, Zelda 2 on the NES, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. A little weird. No A Link to the Past, and I assume that's because they re-released that on the Game Boy Advance, so they didn't really want to step on those toes. Because you could buy the Game Boy player for the GameCube, and then buy A Link to the Past on that, and then play A Link to the Past on the GameCube that way. But I still think that's kind of unfortunate, because it's kind of like, I mean, that would have been cool to have A Link to the Past. Right, as it is, it feels a little kind of like, okay, you're kind of missing a massive game right there. They also include a Wind Waker demo in this collector's edition disc. So yeah, I think this is a very strange thing as an incentive to buy a GameCube, but it is a really good deal, especially at that time, you know? Like, if Nintendo included just the raw NES ROM of Zelda 1 and 2 in like a Nintendo Switch 2 bundle, well, that would be I think that'd be funny. I'd love that, you know. Who am I to say I wouldn't like that? But it also doesn't make much sense, considering the fact that we've gotten those games numerous times. We have so many easy ways to play those games. But back then, I mean, you could emulate those on your computer, but it just wasn't nearly as commonly done as it is these days. And of course, re-release wise, like, these games didn't get re-released as much as they've had at this point. So yeah, I mean, I think that was kind of like an interesting thing to include. The Wind Waker demo kind of pulls everything together. You know, this is almost like a little sampler platter of Zelda to kind of get you interested in the big GameCube Zelda game. So here's a bunch of the classics right there. And I think it's cool that, like, yeah, they just straight up have the N64 games there. And, you know, those are beefy games. Those are 2 of the greatest games of all time. But yeah, I think it's kind of just a weird thing Nintendo did to just incentivize sales. I would put this in B tier, because it is a good deal overall. You know, like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask at this point, when this bundle released in like 2003 or something, they were still kind of new games. Like, Majora's Mask was only 3 years old. But at that point, if Majora's Mask is like 3 years old, why not include like actual GameCube games included with the GameCube, and then just kind of offer this collection as a standalone thing, and kind of just spruce it up a little bit to be like an actual compilation that's on store shelves rather than just a freebie thrown in to a GameCube bundle. I don't know, it was always a little weird, but it is a cool collection. Though I will definitely say, with that mindset of like, why not throw in an actual GameCube game? Boom! Let's talk about another S-tier bundle. It is the Metroid Prime and Wind Waker GameCube bundle. You get 2 games included, and it's 2 of the best games that generation. I just think it's almost like irresistible when a bundle includes like 2 games. Now, of course, it depends what those 2 games are, but I think this one is pretty crazy. Now, of course, I would say these are definitely more core titles. You know, GameCube had other bundles with stuff like Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Mario Party, all of that, and you know, like those are easy to just jump in and just enjoy, especially considering those are all multiplayer titles, and the GameCube was really big with local couch multiplayer. But I think this really kind of appeals to kind of that core, like, man, you just want to get a GameCube and you just want to dive into 2 amazing adventure games. Like, oh man, like this is good. This is really good. I'm a sucker for dual pack bundles. All right, so what do I think about the Nintendo Switch Mario Tennis Aces and 1-2 Switch bundle? What the hell just came out of my mouth? So these are both included as download codes, and Mario Tennis Aces is good. It's a solid tennis game, you know. I have my problems with it. When it first initially launched, I felt like it was severely lacking in content. The gameplay of Mario Tennis Aces is quite good, but I also find it to be kind of a strange headliner. I think Mario Tennis kind of feels like a game you pick up when you already have the console, not necessarily the game you want to buy the console for. But then I think what's honestly even more noteworthy is the fact that I think this is the only bundle for the Nintendo Switch, at least here in North America, that includes 1-2 Switch, which is a game that so many people said, like, why isn't this a pack-in? Well, here you go. In my opinion, I never really felt like 1-2 Switch worked well as like a Wii Sports like pack-in. As a little bonus in here, why the hell not? You know, it's such just a minor little addition. It's literally like Mario Tennis Aces is the main focus of this bundle, and then in the corner it's just like, oh, also 1-2 Switch. But yeah, I never felt like 1-2 Switch was a great Wii Sports like game because I don't really think it's a great system showcase. Certain elements are, like the ball count mini game in 1-2 Switch, the fact that you can kind of, oh, I can feel the marbles in the Joy-Con with the HD Rumble, stuff like that, or like the sandwich eating mini game with the IR sensor. Like, I guess that showcases some elements of the Joy-Con, but for the most part, I think 1-2 Switch is more so kind of like a weird artistic experiment rather than a great like Wii Sports like pack-in game. This one's weird, but I'm also like, Mario Tennis Aces is okay. I don't think it's really that pack-in worthy. I almost want to put it in C tier because that's right next to another weird bundle. I feel like C is a great tier for like, this is just a weird So I could put it in C, but also looking at the NES Deluxe set, I mean, that has like a lot of dog shit qualities about it. Just the fact that Rob's there and Rob doesn't work very well. 1-2 Switch is included in the Mario Tennis Aces bundle. And these 2 games just have absolutely like nothing to do with each other. And 1-2 Switch is not the greatest game. And Mario Tennis Aces is just fine in most cases. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to put it in D tier. I think this is a weird bundle, much like that Wii bundle. But the Wii bundle is a good game with an amazing soundtrack CD. The problem is, why the hell is there a soundtrack CD here? You know, let's go back to the NES and let's talk about the action set, which was kind of the go-to bundle that I think most people had back in the day. You know, you get 2 NES controllers, a zapper gun, and the combination cartridge of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. I mean, this is an absolute classic. This gave you kind of like the ultimate sampler platter of what the NES could give you. Well, honestly, being something that you could honestly play for like months on your own back in those days. I say as if I was there. But hey, listen, like I had the NES at my grandma's house and I played Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt pretty religiously. This was always played, and like I never got bored of it. Like every time I'd come over, I'd be like, I kind of want to play Mario again. I kind of want to play Duck Hunt again. I would honestly put this in A tier. I think it did its job perfectly. I think there's definitely been better deals and better like overall bundles, but I think this one belongs near the top of the list. All right, so we go for overly retro here. Let's go for overly modern. Let's talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Kart World Bundle. This was available at launch, and it was available for, a couple months after launch there, until it got replaced with the Pokemon Legends ZA bundle, which, I think Mario Kart World makes a lot of sense as a bundle. There's nothing special about this system other than the fact that, you get a digital version of Mario Kart World. And, that was the one launch game everybody got. Everybody wanted to play it. They gave you a deal with this one. The Nintendo Switch 2 was $450, and then Mario Kart World was $80 standalone, and then the bundle was $500. Scratch that. I don't think Nintendo was giving us a deal. I think they were just genuinely giving us what the game was actually worth here. I really like Mario Kart World, but definitely wasn't worth $80. And I almost feel like Nintendo priced it that high because they wanted this Switch 2 bundle to seem like an even greater deal than what it would be if Mario Kart World was just $70. But to be honest, I do think it was kind of surprising that they wanted to do a bundle with Mario Kart World so soon. That is kind of surprising, because they could have done that with something like, let's say, the Nintendo Switch 1. They could have offered a bundle with Breath of the Wild there or something. But I think they kind of did this because they just saw so much success with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch 1 throughout the years that they were like, all right, yeah, Mario Kart World is kind of our big system seller here, so we might as well offer a bundle because that'll push units even more. Oh, man, this is tricky because I don't have much like an emotional attachment to this bundle in particular. It's just kind of like, well, this makes sense. Kind of struggling because it is a good deal. Even if Mario Kart World was like $60, a standard $60, this would have still been a good deal because you're getting it for only $50 more. So, yeah, I think because they're giving it to you for a deal, and it's also the big launch title. And it's been a while since we've gotten like a launch title from Nintendo that is like a true exclusive to the new system that's as big as Mario Kart World was. Like, we have Breath of the Wild on Switch 1, but Breath of the Wild was also a Wii U game. Wii U, we had Nintendo Land, which is kind of just a mini game party game collection. Really fun one, but still. And New Super Mario Bros. U. Who cares? We had Twilight Princess, but again, that was a GameCube game. GameCube had Luigi's Mansion. I think it's been since Mario 64 that we've had like literally the big game like this as an exclusive at the launch of the system, and they're giving it to you in a bundle. Now, it wasn't like a pack-in, because like a pack-in would be like, nope, it's just standardized, it's a part of the package, can't get rid of it even if you tried. But no, I think the fact that they made this bundle available at launch, it's pretty substantial. I think it belongs in A. Believe me, I'm kind of annoyed about that, but I mean, like, let's be honest, like, it is a pretty big deal that, like, oh yeah, that's a good bundle. All right, fellas, like I was saying earlier with that GameCube Zelda Collector's Edition bundle, that era was full of a lot of funny bundles where it kind of just felt like stores could just do whatever they wanted. They could just smack a sticker on a game console box and be like, this is included. This is funny to me. A Game Boy Advance bundle with Pokemon Crystal for the Game Boy Color. Yeah, I'll give that a C tier because that's another funny, weird one. It'll be like if they included like Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube with a Wii bundle, It's just kind of funny. And it's like what I was saying with the whole Zelda Collector's Edition thing. Like, this is cool, but it's also weird that you're bundling a bunch of like old ass games with this system when it's just like you could bundle some actual GameCube games with your GameCube. So I just think that's a little goofy. Keeping with the Game Boy Advance, here we have the Target exclusive bundle that comes with Super Mario Advance and also a Scarlet Letter. Yeah, that's another weird thing. Specifically is going on with like Target. I think Toys R Us did this with the Game Boy Advance as well. But yeah, just the fact that they would like brand the Game Boy Advance with the store you bought it from, I don't get it. It's probably some like deal Nintendo made with them where like they're like, can we put our store's name on the handheld? And they probably got like a good deal for that. I have no idea. So Yeah. Okay. Super Mario Advance is a good game to bundle with the Game Boy Advance. You know, it was a launch title for the GBA. In fact, like when you first boot up Super Mario Advance, like the title screen does kind of an interesting thing where it plays around with like what the aspect ratio of the original Game Boy would be. Like that's like you see the bars of that, and then kind of the screen opens up and it shows like, oh wow, you're in a widescreen Game Boy Advance game now. Like, it's kind of cool. It's a bit of a system showcase in that way. You know, the fact that you have all these big, colorful sprites and they're all thrown around and, like, everybody has, like, really obnoxious voice clips, but I love them for that. And, of course, much like every Mario Advance game, you have the greatest thing known to man included, which is the Mario Brothers arcade game remade for the Game Boy Advance, and it's way better that way. The original Mario Brothers arcade game sucks ass, and this one is incredible. I love Mario Brothers on the Game Boy Advance. The one problem here is the fact that there's a goddamn Target logo on my Game Boy. I think that kind of sucks. I don't think that's really great. Now, you know what's kind of fun is the Target version of the Game Boy Advance that's red. Now, that's fun. If you're gonna do it, go all the way. That's Target red. But no, this is just a standard purple Game Boy Advance, and it just happens to include Mario Advance, which is a great game. I think that's a good bundle idea. I think the Target branding kind of ruins this thing. I would probably put it in C tier. I think it belongs alongside the weird guys. See, the Pokemon Crystal one, there's nothing wrong with the Game Boy itself. I just think the fact that you're including a Game Boy Color game is weird and funny. This one, the game selection is good. It's a Game Boy Advance game. The fact that it has the Target logo on it kind of just seals the deal, man. This is a C-tier console bundle. It's like, why do I need to be reminded every day where I bought my console from? It's like if I went to Golden Corral once and I had to get a tattoo of what the receipt said on my arm. All right, I kind of want to talk about a couple more Nintendo Switch bundles. So here we have one that launched on Mario Day, which is just some marketing thing Nintendo's been pushing the past couple of years. You know, March 10th, hooray. I think it is kind of fun to have something to look forward to, even if Nintendo really doesn't have things going on a lot of the time for it. It feels really random. Maybe some years they have a ton planned, and then other years they don't got nothing. They definitely want it to be kind of like a Star Wars May the 5th kind of celebration kind of day, but I don't really think they're willing to go that far with it. But they've been doing a couple of things every year, and this was one of the things they did in 2023. This is the Mario Day bundle, and it includes one of 3 possible digital download games. You don't get 3 games, you have to choose one. You can either get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, or Super Mario Odyssey. You can choose from either 2 Wii U games or an actual Nintendo Switch game, and all of them are incredibly old at this point. This bundle launched in 2023. Yeah, in my opinion, I would probably pick Super Mario Odyssey or Mario Kart 8. I don't trust anybody that would pick New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. But this bundle does have a few unique little things. Firstly, you do have like the deep red Joy-Con, which I really like those. I think these are the same Joy-Con that were included with the Super Mario Odyssey bundle from 2017. So that's Mario related, I guess. However, they also include stickers based on the Mario movie. Holy shit. This bundle kind of sucks. I really don't like the choose one thing. Like, I get that it's like a gimmick that's sort of interesting and it kind of gets you a little more involved and makes you think a little more. But at that point, I would rather them just include like a $60 eShop credit or something. I don't know. Like, and if it were me, like, I just think this selection of Mario games is just boring as hell, man. Now, why can't we pick from 5? I would throw in Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. I absolutely love that version of the game. I think that's probably like the most perfect game to include, especially if you want a Mario related bundle for people to buy after they walk out of the Mario movie, because this launched right alongside the Mario movie. So like they wanted to launch this, so then people were like, oh man, I'm so in the mood for Mario. Hey, a Switch, I'm gonna get this Mario one. I think Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury would have been perfect, but it might have been a little too new for them to include at that point, because, you know, they just want to include stuff that is ass old. You know, I would have said Super Mario 3D All-Stars would have been a cool inclusion if they didn't make that like a limited time product, but that would kind of go against my whole spiel here about including old-ass games like Pokemon Crystal and 4 old-ass Zelda games with the GameCube, so I stopped myself from being too much of a hypocrite. You're welcome, me. Now, here's the thing. This bundle was $2.99, so you were genuinely getting the games for free because that was the core price of the Nintendo Switch. And you also had the sticker sheets for free. You can't forget the stickers. So I can't complain that much, even if I do think like I would have preferred like a better selection of games or whatever. But it's just like still, it's like, you know, it's not a bad selection of games. But I do think it's annoying because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was like the only damn thing Nintendo would bundle with the Switch 1 for years. And it's still here as an option. Like, I'm just like, come on, man. I get it. It's the most popular Switch game, but still. Yeah, I think it's like a good bundle and stuff, but I think it probably belongs in C tier because it's really not doing anything that interesting. And I think the choose one thing is kind of a lame gimmick. And also, like, the design of the package sucks ass. Look at this thing. It's so boring. It's literally just blue with like a really basic question block kind of like outline saying choose one, and that's all it really is. But that brings us to the legendary Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Switch 1 bundle. I just picked this one as like this was just what Nintendo sold every Black Friday for years. I'm putting this in C. I just got sick of this thing. Like, I'm just like, please give me something else. And every now and then they would mix it up a little bit. Sometimes the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle would include like a month of Switch Online membership. Then other times it was the OLED model Switch, and it also came with an online membership. Ow. Like, it was literally just the same thing all the time, and it just got really boring. They never really wanted to add any additional value. To be fair, I think the OLED one came with like a 1 year long Switch Online subscription. But keep in mind, that's $20. And then the standard Switch, some of them came with a 3-month Switch Online subscription. Okay, it's not really that interesting, man. Now, I kind of want to talk about some other Switch bundles here because they kind of go with what I'm talking about, I guess. Back in 2018, before Super Smash Bros. Ultimate launched, there's a special edition Smash Ultimate Switch. And the way they did this was interesting because, you know, the dock was special. It had like a Smash Brothers-esque design. Then you also had Joy-Con controllers with the Smash Brothers cross symbol on it. And this also came with a full download for Smash Ultimate. However, this launched like a month before Smash Ultimate, so the download code wouldn't activate for a month, but you'd have a download code for Smash Ultimate for like a month. That wouldn't work, which is interesting. I mean, yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, Smash Brothers doesn't really get like much merchandise at all, and I know that sounds weird because like they have a whole amiibo line and whatnot. But in terms of like you know, you don't go into stores and see Smash Brothers related anything really other than amiibo and the game. So like I always really like the Smash Brothers special systems, which there's really only been a couple. Like there's this one, and then there's like the 3DS XLs for Smash Brothers for 3DS. So I do think this is kind of a special little occasion, and I kind of like this bundle, but I think I kind of like this bundle because I like Smash Brothers. Like, I think the dock, it looks a little corny. Just the fact that you have a grayscale version of like the artwork from the box art on the dock. Like, it looks kind of cool, but I'm also kind of like, I'm not a huge fan of it. And then the Joy-Con, like, I just think these things look dumb. Like, again, like, part of me is like, it's kind of cool, but, you know, Smash Brothers Ultimate's color scheme is white and black. And these are just the standard gray-ass Joy-Con with, like, silver Sharpie markings on it. Like, it would have made a lot more sense to me if it was, like, white Joy-Con with a black slash, or even black Joy-Con with a white slash. I think that would have been really slick looking. But you do get the game, so, I mean, that's kind of cool. I'd probably put it in B tier because I do like it to an extent, but I do think there are just some corny elements to it that I'm not super into. But then we have a revised model, which is an OLED bundle that hit during Black Friday a couple of years ago. It's a Smash Ultimate bundle, comes with a Switch Online subscription, and it comes with the exact same Joy-Con from the original Smash Ultimate bundle, but the dock is just black. I'm just a little confused. So they retain the Joy-Con, the dock is not special though, and it comes with, you know, a full game download. I don't know what to think about this one, man. Now, I know I don't always consider price, but that's just because a lot of these, I don't know what the price was, but at least with these, I know what the price is. The Smash Ultimate initial bundle was $360, which makes sense because a Switch was $300. Smash Ultimate was a brand new game at that time, so they weren't cutting you a deal. But I mean, you were getting kind of a cool little special edition thing. The Switch OLED bundle happened a couple of years later, so they just straight up gave you Smash Ultimate and the Switch Online subscription and also the special edition Joy-Con for no extra cost. Like, this was $350, which was the going price for any Switch OLED, even without a game. So I think this bundle is cool, but at the same time, it's interesting because they just took the controllers from the original bundle, not the dock. The dock is just basic on this new one. It feels kind of like cobbled together from spare parts in this way. It's kind of a funny little bundle. I think because of that, I'd put it right alongside the original, even though it was a significantly better value because, like, yeah, I mean, you're getting Switch Online and you're getting the game all at no extra cost. And, you know, I'm happy that they were actually giving you a deal on Black Friday. But, yeah, I mean, there's just something about it that just feels kind of just like they had a bunch of extra Joy-Con laying around in the garage, and they were like, well, let's just put this all together, and bada bing, bada boom, we have a Black Friday bundle. All right, fellas, we're going back to an old friend. We're going back to the Wii U. We got the ZombiU bundle. ZombiU plus Nintendo Land. This one's interesting. So the Wii U had like their deluxe set for $350. That included black Wii U, 32 gigabytes, bunch of plastic stands for your console and gamepad and everything. And you also had Nintendo Land, and you also had a cool little promotion included called the Deluxe Digital Promotion, where anything you would buy on the Nintendo Wii shop, you'd get points, which you could then convert into like little $5 gift cards at some point. So that was all for $350. Now, the ZombiU bundle now includes ZombiU and a Pro Controller and also an exclusive ZombiU art book for $390. So yeah, I think that's a pretty wild deal, especially considering you still get Nintendo Land with this bundle. And ZombiU, while it was kind of like a love it or hate it kind of game, I wasn't a huge fan of ZombiU, but it was a pretty good showcase for the Wii U. And I think this bundle does weirdly capture the whole essence of like what Nintendo wanted the Wii U to be. Oh, it's a console for everybody. We have casual games, hardcore games. Well, how about a bundle where you get a casual game and a hardcore game? Wow. Of course, this one gets a little extreme with it being an M-rated survival horror game, but still, especially with the fact that it includes a Wii U Pro Controller as well. I think this is a pretty insane deal. I mean, a Wii U Pro Controller was $50 alone, and this was only $40 more than a standard Wii U Deluxe set. Guys, I think this is another S tier, and I don't even like ZombiU. The extra art book is kind of the cherry on top. You know, they didn't need to do that. It's just kind of like a very interesting extra edition. Speaking of which, let's talk about another Wii U bundle that includes kind of a pseudo book. We have The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD Wii U bundle. Now, this is more of a special edition as well because the gamepad here has special Zelda insignia all over it. This is interesting because this actually launched before the planned launch date for the physical release of this game. Wind Waker HD was originally planned to launch in like early October, but Nintendo decided to launch it early digitally in September of 2013, and this bundle launched on that digital release date. So this comes with a digital download for Wind Waker HD, and it also includes a downloadable ebook version of The Legend of Zelda Hyrule Historia. Now, the thing with Hyrule Historia is like this was a very big deal at the time. I believe like this actually launched in Japan around early 2012, kind of to coincide with the release of Skyward Sword in late 2011. But this book was infamous at the time because this was the first official confirmation of a Zelda timeline. Nintendo always kind of like skirted around it before, but this book actually like fully showcased like an official canon Zelda timeline. Now, this localized version, I believe, actually came out in 2013, the same year as this Wii U bundle. So I find it interesting that they actually worked with the publisher of this book, Dark Horse Comics, and they actually created kind of a digital version of this book for the Wii U. This was still kind of in Nintendo's phase where they were actively against supporting, you know, smart devices. So they were like, oh, well, you can read the book on Wii U. That sounds horrible, but it was there, so That's kind of interesting. This was a pretty cool bundle, especially because it launched alongside the game, and the Wind Waker HD was included for free here. This bundle was $300, and this also was the first day of the Wii U's new MSRP for this deluxe set variant being $300. So kind of cool. Now, my thing is, I don't think Hyrule Historia being included. Really, I don't really give a damn about that. Like, the whole thing with Hyrule Historia is like, this is something, like I showed, that deserves to be bought as like a hardcover book, and you enjoy it as a book. There's so much beautiful art here. There's so much interesting information, and that all being on a Wii U gamepad is miserable. So this is kind of creeping towards the Wii bundle with Mario Galaxy soundtrack CD territory. The difference is this actually makes a lot more sense than that, because, the soundtrack CD, you couldn't even play that on the Wii that you just bought. This is something that's included that is on your Wii U that you just bought. The problem is, I don't want to consume this on my Wii U. It's just kind of a nothing inclusion. Like, cool that it's here, but it's also like, again, like, I don't know. The fact that it's readable on Wii U, like, I'm like, that's kind of cute, but it's also like, I don't want to read this on my Wii U. I would probably put this in B tier, because I mean, you look at the ZombiU bundle, and that's giving you a damn deal. You get 2 games with that, an extra controller, all of that. Wind Waker HD, it's just a deluxe set Wii U, but you don't get Nintendo Land with it. You get Zelda and a cool Zelda gamepad. That's great, but the extra little inclusion they have there, who wants that? All right, so here we have a Nintendo 3DS XL, and it's a Mario special edition. You got Mario jumping there, and it's all red and everything. It's not my favorite design, I'm gonna be honest. So then explain to me why I own it. I don't know, it's just kind of like a very generic Mario-esque design. And even like the color of it, it's just the same as like the standard red 3DS XL. Well, what's special about this one? Well, it comes included with New Super Mario Bros. 2. And I think the really interesting thing here is this is a special edition of New Super Mario Bros. 2 that was only available in this bundle, and it is a download only. This has never been physically released. It is New Super Mario Bros. 2 Gold Edition. The only thing about this one is that it includes all of the DLC courses. Now, the DLC courses in New Super Mario Bros. 2 are nothing that crazy. There's a fun mode in this game called Coin Rush mode, where you just plow through a bunch of stages as fast as possible and just try to collect as many coins as you can. And they released a couple of stage packs specifically for Coin Rush mode. And Gold Edition just includes them all, just right off the bat. So my main thing is, I just find it interesting that this bundle was the only way you could get this version of New Super Mario Bros. 2. I don't think they ever sold the Gold Edition on the eShop. They never had a physical release of it. Just never happened. So just the fact that this is the thing, like, it's a little weird. So where does it go? Well, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the design. It's okay, but it's just a little too like generic Mario. There's something about like Mario designs like this that I'm just like, it just reminds me of like a kid's backpack, like, it's fine. There's nothing like wrong with it, like, I just need something a little more unique, I guess. And like I said, this just kind of feels like a kid's backpack. But the game included is unique, even though it's not really that unique. And just the fact that they never offered this on its own, like, I'm just like, that's just strange to me. I don't know, I'm giving it a C. Like, it honestly bugs me a little bit. Like, why was this version of the game exclusive to this bundle? That annoys me. But it annoys me that it annoys me because it's not an interesting version of the game. It's literally just New Super Mario Bros. 2 with all the DLC included. Why do I care? How about the Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon bundle? It's a blue 3DS. That's it. Blue 3DS. Comes with Luigi's Mansion 2. I don't know. There's just something weird about this one. I love the fact that the whole box is like super nicely designed. It has that whole Luigi's Mansion vibe. 3DS is nothing special. It's literally just a blue 3DS. That's it. And Luigi's Mansion 2 is okay. It's fine. I don't know. I'm feeling kind of rude today. I'm giving this a D. The NES Power Set. So this is almost kind of like the ultimate NES bundle that you could have gotten at the time, because it's pretty much the same as the action set, yet it comes with the power pad, and the cartridge not only now includes Mario 1 and Duck Hunt, but World Class Track Meet. All right, here's the thing. I don't think I own a power pad. I don't need to own a power pad though. The power pad is kind of cool because like it is a very early version of what would eventually be like the home versions of DDR. You know, like, yeah, you have this like mat that you put on the floor, and then, you know, it can detect your where your feet are. You know, that's kind of cool that, you know, they were doing that back on the NES. I think my thing is this is like a less egregious version of Rob because the power pad at least kind of works, and there are a handful of games that work with it, but like not a lot at all. Like, try to name a game that works with the power pad other than World Class Track Meet. But that's his thing, like Rob just didn't work. The power pad works, and I feel like if you're getting the power set, you know what you're getting into. Like, you want to run around on the power pad. Like, you want that. I'm probably considering putting this in B tier because the action set is so iconic, and that is like what everybody got. That is like the perfect bundle. I think when you add World Class Track Meet and a power pad, you're starting to add too many cooks to the kitchen, and it just starts to feel a little bloated, especially when, like, you know that power pad is taking up the most room in that box. I'll give it B. It's still a decent bundle. You get a lot of the stuff that you're gonna need with an NES, but I believe in other regions, there was a bundle of the NES that came with a 3-in-1 combo cartridge that was Super Mario Brothers, Tetris, and Nintendo World Cup. Now that is an amazing bundle. I think that's through the roof of value because you get Mario and then Tetris. Tetris is endless. And then, yeah, if you're cool, if you're a jock, then there you go. You get your soccer game. Yay. Here you have the N64 Donkey Kong 64 set. What I really like about this is that you get a unique color of the N64. You get the jungle green N64, and you get Donkey Kong 64 included. And then because it's Donkey Kong 64, you get the expansion pack as well, which I think kind of makes this like a really great all-in-one bundle for the N64. Like, if you just get this, you're set. Now, of course, Donkey Kong 64 is very much love it or hate it. You know, it's not a perfect video game. It does not age particularly well, but at the time it was seen as like, hey, this is a great game. And I think, yeah, I mean, this bundle overall, I think it's pretty good. You know, the expansion pack is useful in a fair amount of games. A lot of N64 games are just enhanced with it, and I think a couple require it, like DK64, Majora's Mask, Perfect Dark. And yeah, I think if you're going to make an N64 bundle at the time of this bundle's release, I think it makes perfect sense to include something that uses the expansion pack. So then it's just like, boom, it's there. You got it. You don't got to worry about it. And I think it's cool that it's the jungle green version. Man, I don't care if Donkey Kong 64 is a dog-ass game sometimes. Like, I'm putting this in A tier. All right, now I got two Wii U bundles here. Both have two games, and I kind of want to figure out which one is better and where these things go. So we have the Smash Splat Deluxe set. This released in 2015, holiday season 2015. And Smash Brothers for Wii U was 1 year old at that time. Splatoon was about 6 months old at that time. So both fairly new games. And, you know, it was the same price as any other Wii U. It was $300. I think it's interesting because alongside Splatoon's release in May 2015, they released like a flat out Splatoon Wii U bundle. So it's just like, yeah, if you waited 6 months, you get that same Splatoon bundle pretty much with Smash Brothers included as well. I find it interesting that in North America, they never did a flat out Smash Brothers bundle. The only time that Smash Brothers was bundled with the Wii U was via this 2-in-1 like deluxe set, which is interesting. Now, the initial Splatoon bundle also included Nintendo Land. This version does not. But what does, though, is the Super Mario 3D World Deluxe set. That includes Nintendo Land. So I'm kind of trying to think here. Now, I think Smash Brothers and Splatoon at that time were far more valuable games. By the time the 3D World Deluxe set hit, Nintendo Land was a pretty worthless game. Like, you could probably get it for like 20 bucks. That's just because, you know, like at that point, like it was bundled so many times, like it's just, it wasn't high in demand. But Nintendo Land is a phenomenal game, and I think it's a great pack-in game. And I do think if you're like the first time buying a console, I think Super Mario 3D World and Nintendo Land are a fantastic like starter pack. And I think that's like, hey, you're getting like a great first impression of this console, like two games that everybody can enjoy. Now, I think Smash Brothers for Wii U being a pack-in game for the Wii U, I almost feel like it would have been a good idea if they did something like the ZombiU bundle where you got an extra controller. Because that's great that Smash Brothers for Wii U is included. I don't really like playing Smash for Wii U with the Wii U gamepad. So I'm not saying they needed to include like the GameCube controller adapter and a GameCube controller, but even just like a Wii U Pro controller I think would have been good. And I think that would have been good alongside Splatoon as well, just because they had kind of that silly little local multiplayer mode in Splatoon 1 where one player uses a Pro controller, and you could, in fact, zip tie a Wii remote to it for added motion controls. You know, that is an official Nintendo thing they told you to do. But I think a Wii U Pro controller would have gone a long way with this bundle. You know, it was predominantly multiplayer-centric bundle. To be fair, you know, with the 3D World and Nintendo Land bundle, you could make the argument that like, oh, well, you should include a Wii remote as well because you need a Wii remote for great multiplayer mayhem in Nintendo Land. But Nintendo Land has a bunch of single player attractions as well that utilize the gamepad, and a lot of them are genuinely pretty good. So, you know, I don't know. The thing is, like, at Mario Kart 8's launch in 2014, they had a Wii U deluxe set bundle of that where they included a Wii remote with that. So that would have made these like perfect. I mean, I think I might have to rank the Smash for Wii U and Splatoon 1 higher, mainly because like those were both brand new games, and it's also like those are like the best possible games you could get with your console at the time. I know I said that about 3D World and Nintendo Land, and that's more so just based on the fact that those are more kind of casual games, but they're still really good. And I think 3D World gives you that meaty, big single player or also multiplayer if you like it experience. And then Nintendo Land also gives you like a more of a multiplayer focused experience with some single player stuff if you want that. The Smash Splat Deluxe bundle kind of is very multiplayer focused, but Smash Brothers gives you like an endless amount of content to kind of chip away at, and Splatoon gives you kind of a fresh new multiplayer game that you know, like you haven't really seen much of before. And unfortunately, by the time the 3D World Deluxe set came out, I think people were kind of like, you know, like over Nintendo Land. So I think that goes in B, and I'll put the Smash Splat Deluxe set in A. All right, this one's a weird one. This is a Game Boy Advance SP bundle, and the way it's formatted is like in this giant blister pack. So you have a blue GBA SP in the corner, and then you have Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, and then a player's guide for that game right next to it, which is the biggest fucking part of this package. And then a carrying case for the GBA SP, which I remember I actually had this exact carrying case for my Game Boy Advance SP. So that was kind of the go-to Game Boy Advance SP carrying case, I guess. So I'm happy I own that. I'm happy I was actually doing what I was supposed to be doing back then. Yeah, I just love how big this one is. I love that it's not even trying to be like economical with its size or anything or its packaging. They were just like, f it. Let's just show you literally everything you're gonna get just all here. I kind of like this, I don't know. And like, this is probably like one of the best Game Boy Advance SP games, especially if you play like the e-reader levels, which, you know, logically, it doesn't really make much sense because nobody owned an e-reader back then. And the only way anybody ever actually played these levels is via like the virtual console release on Wii U, or the Nintendo Switch Online release, where they're just all available in there. But yeah, Mario 3 on GBA has like a bunch of exclusive levels that you can only get with the e-reader. So if they included an e-reader, that could have been kind of funny. But I think they kind of give you a good starter pack here. The player's guide is definitely unnecessary, but I do kind of like how it is kind of the biggest bit of the package. So I think I'm going to give this an A tier. You get a carrying case, you get a great game. I love how the carrying case matches the color of the GBA SP as well. And it also matches the color of the Super Mario Bros. 3 logo. I don't think that mattered at all. I think that's just a coincidence, but still, it's getting an A. The original Mario Kart DS Nintendo DS bundle. So this is the OG fat-ass Nintendo DS. This is like the worst one, man. This is one of Nintendo's lamest handhelds. Not the DS itself. The DS is great, but like this original model of the DS sucks so bad. It's so bad, man. It looks bad. It functions poorly. The screen doesn't look good. But you know what's fun about this one? It comes with Mario Kart DS. It's a red DS, so like it's a unique color. And you also get a bunch of decals and a custom wrist strap. Wow. It's just a bunch of like extra stuff they didn't have to include with this one. I also really love the red color. I'm a sucker for like just dedicated red systems. I think they look super fun. And I think the incredible thing is this thing costs the exact same as the DS standalone. Like the DS standalone was 150 bucks. This bundle was $150. And you get Mario Kart DS, which is like the best DS game, and also hot decals. And the wrist strap has like a racing stripe on it. Oh my god, the Guitar Hero On Tour DS Lite. This is so cool. Guitar Hero On Tour is like one of the coolest damn things in all of video games, honestly. Okay, it might not be cool, but it's like it's probably the most like clever use of like a handheld's features and limitations and all of that to just create like an experience where it's just like, yeah, this is literally Guitar Hero on the go. It's perfect. It works flawlessly. And I think Nintendo was very impressed by it. Like, I think they really loved what was done here. And yeah, this DS Lite bundle is really cute. You know, you get a Guitar Hero Special Edition DS, and you get the Guitar Hero On Tour DS game with the guitar grip and the little, you know, Guitar Hero guitar pick. I don't really think it includes anything else, unlike the Mario Kart DS one, which includes hot decals. So I'm putting this an A. I like it a lot. I think it's such a cool thing to bundle. All right, buddy. The Fortnite Nintendo Switch. So this is a unique Nintendo Switch unit. You know, you have a special edition dock, special edition Joy-Con, and you get V-Bucks. Listen, man, sometimes I like buying stuff that I think is dumb as hell because I love owning dumb as hell things. I've always thought like bundles with Fortnite and stuff is just the silliest little thing. You know, a lot of different console bundles have included Fortnite, or they put Fortnite on the box and stuff, or like, you know, you might have like a special controller that comes with like Fortnite stuff. And I just think it's super funny. I mean, like, I think this console bundle is really funny just because it is just pushing Fortnite like crazy. It is just going like basically like Fortnite included. A free ass game. Yes, you get like a bunch of in-game currency and stuff, and that is valuable if you are a Fortnite player. I don't really care. I think this is so I'm giving this a D. The Smash Brothers Melee bundle set. This is just kind of like a very famous GameCube bundle. I remember seeing this in the stores. And yeah, I mean, like, this was the bundle. Now, I think it would have been cool if they would have included maybe like another controller or something like that. So I think this is just like a very worthwhile bundle. You know, it was the GameCube's main game. It was like the system seller for the GameCube. So I think this makes sense to put like an A tier, but I think it would have been S if they would have included like a little bit something extra. Much like the Mario Kart Double Dash bonus set, where you get Mario Kart and you get 2 extra controllers, which is perfect considering it's Double Dash. You know, 2 characters, 1 card. It makes sense. Now, I will say, this is a slightly confusing box considering it says bonus 2 controllers, which almost implies to me that I should get 3 controllers with this, because a bonus 2 controllers would be in addition to the 1 controller I should normally get with my GameCube. But whatever, I think this is like kind of a perfect situation with the GameCube. You buy a GameCube, you get 2 controllers with it, you get Mario Kart. Like, I think that just makes perfect sense. So I think I'm gonna give this an S tier. It just makes sense. It's like a perfect bundle. That's just kind of how I like to rate these. Like, you know, if it just makes like perfect sense, if this is just like, man, everything comes together and this bundle is just a no-brainer. It's just such a good deal. You get everything you need just right there. And then boom, you know, like yeah, S tier. Now, where does the last NES set that I have here go? The NES Challenge set. So this was a bit of a later bundle where instead of getting the Zapper or any extra accessories, you just get the NES with 2 controllers and Super Mario Bros. 3. Here's the thing. I think this might get an A tier just because as iconic as the Zapper is and as cool as it is, I'm kind of thinking it's a little like the Power Pad, where I am kind of thinking like, yeah, the Zapper is cool and stuff, and it works. That's great. How many games have you played on the NES that use the Zapper other than Duck Hunt? So I think for what it is, I think the challenge set gives you everything you kind of need. Of course, like I would like it if they included like a double pack, much like they did with the action set and the power set and all of that. Mario 3 though is like the best NES game, so it's kind of like, you know, like what else do you really need other than that? I think it would have been cool if, you know, you had Mario 3 and maybe you had like another one of Nintendo's games. I would maybe say like Punch-Out would be cool, or like Tetris. I think that would honestly put this at an S tier. If you have Mario 3 and Tetris, I think that's flawless. That is a perfect bundle to buy for the NES. You have like this grand adventure with Mario 3 that'll last you for so long. Then you have like a game that's genuinely endless that everybody in the family can kind of get into. But yeah, I think as it is, I think the challenge set belongs in A tier. Now we have the Game Boy Advance e-reader bundle. You get a standard Game Boy Advance and you get an e-reader. The e-reader is a piece of shit. Yeah, I have this bundle. It is literally a Game Boy Advance and an e-reader together in one big box. And again, the e-reader is awful. I think the e-reader is interesting. I like elements about the e-reader, but overall, when it comes to what you should be getting with your Game Boy Advance, not the e-reader. Like, there's no actual GBA game here. You have Donkey Kong Jr. Included as an e-reader game where you have to scan 5 cards to play fucking Donkey Kong Jr. on NES. And then a couple little sample cards to, like, scan if you really want to. But a lot of these sample cards are, like, things that you would need to use in, like, Animal Crossing on GameCube, for example. But, oh, thank God you have the Game & Watch Manhole game that you can scan with this. I don't know, man. Like, it's just like, give me a fucking Game Boy Advance game, man. The lime green Nintendo DS Lite bundled with personal trainer cooking and a carrying case. I think it's kind of interesting when bundles include carrying cases. This one honestly kind of looks like a super generic, like almost like an off-brand bootleg Amazon.com carrying case you'd get for the DS Lite. Personal trainer cooking is an interesting game. It was definitely kind of ahead of its time in many ways. It feels like this was a game that was kind of designed with the idea of like how we use smart devices these days, where like you keep your DS off to the side and then you kind of like you speak to it and it listens for you and you can tell it to like go to the next page, repeat your last instructions, which makes sense because your hands are going to be all messy because you're cooking. So honestly, as far as like casual games go, I think this one is an interesting one to bundle the DS with because it is honestly a pretty decent application, but it isn't a game. And I don't really know where to put it. I think I'm going with C. You know, it's just kind of the weird one where I'm just like, it's weird, but like I'm not saying it's not great. Like I'm just going like, it's just kind of a weird one. Well, here we have the Nintendogs Special Edition. So this is still during the OG DS era, so not the DS Lite. Weirdly enough, this one comes with a Nintendog skin for your DS. You know, it's not automatically applied to your system. You know, it's just a skin. And the color is special. It's a teal color, and you have a little screen cleaner kit that's branded with Nintendogs. And the version of Nintendogs included is a special version. It's the Best Friends version, which was, I believe it was only available via these bundles. I think it might have been available like later down the line, but like, yeah, the Best Friends version is kind of like a weird one with like, kind of like a best of the best mix of the dog breeds available at the start of the game. Ooh. You know, the amount of stuff included with this one does kind of bring it up a fair amount of tiers. For example, you know, special edition color, you also have a skin included, and you also have a screen cleaner included. That's branded with Nintendogs. Hell, it's shaped like a dog bone. You seeing that? And the version of the game included is a special edition version. And Nintendogs was a massive system seller on the DS, so I think this might be an A tier. All right, here we have the new Nintendo 3DS special bundle for Pokemon's 20th anniversary. This has 2 virtual console games included. Pre-installed, you have Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, and then you have special faceplates included that are based on, you know, Pokemon Red and Blue's box art. There is something very, very nice about this one that it's just like, it just looks like such a cool bundle. The thing is, you know, you're including Game Boy games included. And like Nintendo did this a couple of times with the 3DS, which I found to be a little weird. They included like virtual console games pre-installed. Like they had the Super Nintendo version of the new 3DS XL with Super Mario Kart included, the Super Nintendo game. And then they had the green one with Super Mario World included. And there's something somewhat charming about that. I can't deny it, but it does feel a little strange. Now, this one and something like the Super Nintendo version of the 3DS XL, like, I think that makes sense to have an SNES game included, but it's still kind of like, okay. And this one, I think gets a pass because, like, it is for Pokemon's 20th anniversary. But, you know, I think it would have been cool, again, if they actually included, like, an actual 3DS game. Also, it's like, what? We're including both Red and Blue? Buddy, can we even trade between those 2 versions if they're both on the same 3DS? So I know the 3DS Virtual Console releases of the Pokemon games had trading functionality built in. So then, you know, like you could trade with your friend, you know, like you could both get together much like you would with the original Game Boys. But if you have both versions on the 3DS, can you trade between those versions? You might be able to. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm kind of like... yeah, okay. I mean, like, it is kind of cool that they're both included. They're both the same game. I'll give this a B because I do think it is like a nice bundle and it does look nice and it's for the 20th anniversary. Okay, but still, they're old ass games included. Like, I'm just like, it's not a great bundle, but it is kind of cute. It is cool. All right, the Super Mario Maker Wii U Deluxe Set bundle. So this is pretty much just the Wii U Deluxe Set with Mario Maker, full game download for Mario Maker. They include the idea booklet that was included with all physical copies of Mario Maker, which I'm happy they included. I don't like this idea booklet. You know, I think they had the opportunity to make like a genuinely cool booklet to kind of teach you how to create level designs, but instead they just make it an idea booklet and they just have like all this like really abstract nonsense that's like what am I supposed to gain from this? But I think the big element of this thing was the amiibo was included. One of the 30th anniversary 8-bit Mario amiibo. And the weird thing about this one is that this was the only way you could get this specific color of the 8-bit Mario amiibo. The other variant was just available as a normal amiibo should be. But this one that uses like Mario's modern colors, this was initially exclusive to this bundle, which was only at Walmart. And I think Nintendo tried to do this because this was when amiibo were doing really well and they were really popular. And I think they really wanted to see how far they could push the amiibo craze and see if people would actually buy a Wii U for an amiibo. I don't really think anybody did. I'm giving this a C because Nintendo wasn't slick. I knew what they were trying to do there. They wanted people to buy a whole ass Wii U just for a damn amiibo. It didn't work. Now we got this other Wii U here, which is the Skylander Swap Force Wii U. And I think this one is interesting because this was the last time that this basic set white Wii U really appeared on store shelves in North America. This was in late 2013. This was the last time we really saw the white one. But this one has like a bunch of stuff going for it, where it is an 8GB Wii U. That's kind of lame. But you also get Nintendo Land included with this one. They had like a limited edition gold version of the Skylander. And I don't know, I just thought this was kind of a pretty decent deal. And I thought it was interesting that this was like an 8GB Wii U that included Nintendo Land, because you really didn't see that very often at all. And you know what? I think it makes sense. The people that were probably playing Skylander Swap Force were probably, you know, kids, and an 8GB Wii U probably made sense for them. And you know what? Getting Nintendo Land with that made a lot of sense. I think this is a perfectly fine little bundle. I'm giving this a B. Now, folks, the Wii Mini. I think the Wii Mini was just a stupid idea. You know, you have a redesigned Wii at $100, when the Wii itself before this was like $130, but then you strip out internet connectivity from that box, and then you're left with the Wii Mini. And I just don't think that was worth it. I don't think that was worth an extra $30. Especially at this time, like the Wii online servers were still up. You could still access like the Wii Shop channel and play online multiplayer and all of this stuff. Yeah, I don't think it was worth it. However, I always thought this bundle was an insane deal. At the time, Mario Kart Wii was a $40 game. A Wii Remote Plus cost $40. A nunchuck, which was also included, cost $20. Already, with those 3 items, you are at $100. So the Wii Mini, the Wii Mini console itself was practically free. I don't care if this console was stupid as hell. This is getting a damn S tier. All right, folks, and we have one more bundle left. We have the Game Boy Advance SP Target exclusive Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events bundle. Well, it's great to know the Wii Mini is going to be in good company.